Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Andreas?
Good, good. How is the audio? Good?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, let me do this little spiel here up front and then we'll get going.
Hello and welcome to Device Squad, the enterprise mobility podcast from Propelics. Device Squad, fighting crimes against enterprise mobility worldwide. Bad UI, frustrating user experiences, poorly conceived mobile strategies, we defeat them all.
How's that? How'd that sound?
It's great.
This podcast series will cover all aspects of enterprise mobility, including strategy, development, design, testing, and more. My name is Steve Brickman. I'm a mobile strategist and a UX architect with Propelics. I'm also a stand-up comedian, which is why I got picked to run these things. But I will try not to be too shticky. First, a brief history of the company. Founded in 2011, Propelics is a mobile strategy consultancy helping enterprises worldwide devise true mobile strategies and develop world-class mobile applications across all industry verticals. Propelics clients include large companies such as Amway, Bright Horizons, Bank of Montreal, Dubai Airports, Family Dollar, DLL, Cintas, Merck, and many more. Propelics' menu of services includes 8 different mobile kickstarts covering everything from mobile strategy and road mapping to MCOE to UI UX design to mobile testing, along with soup to nuts app design, development, and support. Additionally, Propelics offers 3 homegrown enterprise mobile products. Andreas Reaza is one of our lead designers down in Guadalajara. He heads the UI UX team, and we've got him here today to talk about his background and his current work in enterprise mobile with Propelics. I feel personally very lucky to get to work alongside Andreas, and frankly, I wish it would happen a lot more often. I don't get to see him often enough. He's a great friend and an amazingly talented designer. So, without further ado, Andreas, why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure, Steve. Thank you for the nice introduction. So, I have a bachelor degree in graphic design from a university located here in Guadalajara. The first 6 or 7 years of my career, I focused on advertisement, working with agencies, and almost 5 years with a local newspaper, creating all printed campaigns for the customers. In 2009, this newspaper started a project called Club de Suscriptores. It's a subscribers club. It consisting in a web portal that can give benefits to all newspaper subscribers, like discounts on restaurants. When I finished that project, I wanted to start something for my own with some savings I had and some support of my family. I started a first mobile startup on the middle of 2009 called Appetit. It was a restaurant booking system for smartphones, very like to OpenTable. Obviously not that developed. But I tried it enough to start getting involved with UX UI, and I'm here.
That's really interesting. We kind of have similar backgrounds in the way that we both sort of started out on our own for a while, and then eventually got involved with a startup and larger companies. Let's take it back a little further. When did you first decide that you wanted to become an artist? When did you feel that pull towards the arts?
Well, in high school, I was undecided between studying a communication degree or an arts degree, because I was also good at interacting with people, creating good and funny speeches. But the last year of high school, this school planned a talent festival. And since I am not good with poetry or music, I decided to make a drawing. I remember that I borrowed one of my friends a Pink Floyd compact disc, and I played a song, a really good song that I enjoy. Maroon, and that song gave me some inspiration to draw a realistic woman face just with a pencil. And well, my drawing won the first place between another 10 or more participants. And that is when I decided to go with the arts degree.
So that was the pivotal moment for you.
Yeah, I remember that like the pivotal moment.
That's pretty cool that you can define that down to a very specific moment. I think my own moment came a lot earlier. I was like at this like Jewish preschool, and I remember we did like a play right at the end of the class, and all the parents were there watching us, and it was something naturally about dreidels and Hanukkah, whatever. And I remember not wanting to get off the stage at the end, and and that was it for me. Like my parents had to come and like pull me.
That's great.
It's always funny when you can actually pick a specific moment in your life and look back and go, oh yeah, that must have been it. Like who do you feel like you're most inspired by in, whether it's digital design or more traditional forms of art? Who do you look towards?
Speaking about color management and some design principles, I follow some pop artists like Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein. This second one is my favorite one. His art is really, really, really good for me. All the color and creating faces and everything with circles and just playing colors. That's that's the most impressive kind of art I saw in the past. And also I admire the geometrical shapes and simplification of the forms from Pablo Picasso, a cubist, along with another artist like Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, etc. So, but these ones are more recent, are more contemporary. So that is why I like these ones the most. I like art, but I always use a computer to kind of create the things. So that is not good for an artist, I know, but
yeah, I think part of the reason why you and I get along so well is that we have very similar sensibility. The reason why I wanted to get you in here into one of the very first episodes of the podcast is just to show how much Propelics emphasizes design in our work and user experience. It's pretty rare in the enterprise space. You just sometimes you don't even see it at all. And we prefer to work the other way and to think more user-centric. So you've really worked in the consumer space and now in the enterprise space. How would you say that enterprise design differs from commercial or consumer-based design?
I have been involved with Propelics on two consumer projects, and I think consumer apps are more wide. The number of potential users is incredible, unimaginable.
Right. Unlimited, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to think more on the evolution and all the things that human interaction, and try to maybe be the pioneer on releasing good and cool apps and whatever the purpose of that app is. So I think that's the main difference. With enterprise mobile apps, the challenge is a little bit different. Of course, the UX and UI needs to be slick, but the real challenge is to turn complex tools into an intuitive and fast app that can do desktop and task in half of less of the time. That is why I say that sometimes enterprise apps designs need to sacrifice cool things with maybe efficiency.
Yeah, it's kind of cool in a way. They're almost the opposite of each other. I mean, if you think about apps that are consumer apps, they're almost sort of a branch of marketing, right? So the idea is to like impress the user with the coolness of the app, and very often that comes at a price. And sometimes it seems like they think it's more beneficial to make the app cool and so that it has a big splash than to make it easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas enterprise kind of strips away all that. The goal is just how can you make it beautiful and efficient at the same time and simple to use. Consumer apps taking usually a relatively simple interaction and then making it more complex through slick UI, whereas with enterprise, taking very complex interactions and actually simplifying them down. How did you get hooked up with Propelics originally?
Well, the first IT company that I worked for after finish this startup that I talked about, this IT company is located here in Guadalajara. I joined that company as the first designer, and after 1 year, I was surrounded by another 4 or 5 designers. And at the beginning of 2013, Shahab, one of the partners of Propelics, came to Guadalajara looking for someone who can help creating UI around his ideas and get involved on the mobile strategy workshops in US. So I worked with him on one first project with Family Dollar. I remember that was my first project. And from there, it's impressive. I fell in love with all the professionalism and projects that Propelics is giving to customers. Propelics hired me directly on September 2013.
That's exactly when I started. It's been a really fun ride. I've really enjoyed it. I think, versus working in an agency, for me, it just seems more of a meaningful sort of work to be doing, to be creating these utility applications that really improve people's lives in their business at work, versus something that I'm sure you were pulled to going into advertising and helping sell products.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine, but it just feels like what we're doing has so much more meat to it in the long run,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, all the level of knowledge that every one of us is getting day by day is incredible, because the demand of time, the demand of effort, and all the technical knowledge that you have is applied every day on the projects and I mean on the apps that we are creating for the customers. So,
and here we're really creating, helping create a language of mobility and in a utility sense. What is it that you enjoy most about working in enterprise mobility versus say working for an ad agency?
More than enterprise mobility, I really enjoy creating projects from the roots. Becoming with a good idea and develop it until it's finished. That's I think that's really satisfying. Of course, enterprise apps needs to have different approaches for customers, but also enterprise apps are work tools. Those apps involves efficiency and productivity.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to sacrifice like cool animations and cool UX for simplicity to give speed on the task users do.
Yeah, it's definitely about just creating the most intuitive, simple experience for the user, and just enabling employees and so forth just to get the job done as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
definitely different priorities there. I really love that too. The fact that many of our clients, they have a kernel of an idea of what they want the app to do, or they know fundamentally what the sort of mission of the app is, but they haven't broken it down to specific features and stuff. And I love just getting in there and defining a feature set and starting from zero. And
yeah, it's I mean that's the thing that I really enjoy working with Propelics, because sometimes in working with another companies, the idea is already made, so it not necessarily have all the planning that you need in front of the idea to start creating the development, or at least the user experience in UI. But here is all the strategies do all the effort to plan very well the idea and start from scratch to create a really good app for the users, and obviously for the customers as well.
Yeah, so you and I both worked on one project together out in Orange County.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about that project was Andreas and I basically redesigned all of their customer-facing and internal software to make it so that basically anybody could come in and start processing loans for people on day one with very little training. And we created a customer portal and an admin portal for what they call LCs, their loan consultants. There was the consumer-facing side and the enterprise side.
Yeah, that's true.
Both were beautiful, but they each had their own very distinct look. So I was amazed to see that you were able to straddle that line with like equal aplomb. Think about it, like, working for an auto loan refinance client, that sounds kind of boring. But when you think about what we were able to achieve, like, we're actually there are people out there that have these auto loans that are at like 12, 13% interest, which I don't know how it is in Mexico, but in the US, especially now with the economy, that's insanely high. So, and these guys are able to refinance them down to like, 3, 2, 3, 4% loans. So we're actually saving all these, like countless numbers of people, tons of money.
Yeah.
Every year. And so that's money that's, getting out of the banks, and it's going back into the pockets of all these people that obviously need it and deserve it, because that's where the rates are at now, and they just don't know. So, in that sense, it's a really gives me a warm feeling.
No. I totally agree. I think it's great. I mean, saving money to all those people is great. And also, do you remember when we finished one of the portals that we created? Adam, another partner, mentioned that the quotes that they are creating day by day increased 25%. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
The statistic. So, I mean, that's I'm really proud of that, and I mean, all the work that we did at that time is, I mean, it gets value.
That was amazing. And, people, I think that I'm sure people look at our website and they read our copy and stuff, and they wonder how we can possibly, produce effective software or redesign software in as short of a time as we do, basically, 1 to 2 weeks in many cases. But we do it, and here's proof that we do it. We redesigned basically like customer application process, and that's where we saw the 25% uptick in applicants just in that first week alone. And Andreas and I designed that in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So you're basically in charge of the whole group down there in Guadalajara, which I think the bulk of the company now is in Guadalajara. It'd be nice if you could talk a little bit about what it's like working down there. How does work environment differ from what you've seen up here, if at all?
We have kind of all the delivery center here in Guadalajara. We have developers, we have testers, support people, obviously designers. and also a small group of people who is in charge of all the operations in Guadalajara. But the main difference is that we work all together in the same place. As you know, in US, you are working from home and also traveling to the customer side, so you can have more contact with the customers. But here we work in it's a house. I think we grow professionally faster, even when sometimes since we are living it day by day. That don't let us realize that, but we are really growing very fast. Our Guadalajara office is very cool. We work in a big house, full equipped with a kitchen, a living room, a big green backyard. We try to feel at home always. As you know, Guadalajara has a nice weather, so the amenities around this city are.
Yeah, and I keep meaning to get down there too. I was supposed to be down there a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
In December.
You didn't want to come, so you're mean.
It was Hanukkah. Anyway, okay. I noticed that you have a very cool script tattoo on your arm. It's just a couple of words, and I've always meant to ask you what it means. Do you mind talking about it?
Yeah, sure. Well, when I started with Propelics on 2013, I finally felt like I was working on something that I am proud of, and not because the company, because the projects and all the things that I was doing at that time. I started to travel to United States. I started to learn from good people all the things about technology. So all the my parents really helped me when I was broke after my startup. They helped me emotionally and also economically because I didn't have money. So I really think that their and my brother's support were crucial to keep going and reach that point of my life. My tattoo says 50-50. It's 50-50 in English. One of the words are from my father writing, and the other word is from my mom's writing. So it's like saying that I really appreciate. I am thankful for all the support and that I am half part of both. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you are both your mother and your father's genetic material.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of it's a little bit awkward, but yeah.
Literally, I mean that's a literal. And you feel that they both sort of contributed to your success equally.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the support that I received from them, it's incredible.
Yeah, that's a beautiful sentiment. I'm really happy that that I get to do these podcasts because I talked to Glenn the other day, and it gives me a chance to talk to you guys in a way that we really just haven't done on these jobs because when we're on the jobs, we're so busy. We're pretty much flat out until midnight or so every night, and then up at 7 a.m. cranking out the designs. Do you have any thoughts on or any predictions on where you think enterprise mobility is going to be in 5 years? Do you think that things will be radically different or just an evolution of sort of where we're at now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an evolution. I don't see it very different. I don't visualize it very futuristic, like cars flying and everything, but perhaps with better and more capable devices. Probably the technology is changing at high speed. Every year is there are released new devices, new technologies, new platforms. I think it's hard to keep up to date with all the things that are happening, but at least I know that some of the work we do here is changing the way that enterprises are doing business and are operating. I hear really good statistics of the things that we do with the customers. So I don't know. Let's see what is next for mobility and also for enterprise. But I am really excited to figure it out. I mean, the smartwatches like the Apple Watch. It's really cool, but I don't think it's helpful for enterprise tools because first of all, because of the size of the screen and the number of tasks that we are including on the apps it's hard to handle in that tiny screen. But we will see probably more human interaction with the devices on the near future, I guess.
Do you think there's going to come a time when you and I will be out of work because UI will be an outdated thing or outmoded model, or all interaction will be done through voice? You'll just talk to your device and then the device will talk back to you.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Even if you speak with a device, that's user experience, and that needs to be planned. The UI keeps evolving. First, we have this skeuomorphism style, like trying to create things that are similar to real objects. But right now it's just flat. It's flat colors and flat layout. I think, we will keep working. I am not worried about it. Visual comes with everything. It's on our clothes, on the street, on our house. Like I'd say, UI will evolve for sure, but will never disappear.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, we seem to have gotten a lot smarter with design and interaction really quickly in mobility. Like you said, we started out with skeuomorphic, where the design was kitschy. Apps would have like wood paneling or metal in them to make them look like they were built out of real world objects. And instead of interacting with content, we would interact with buttons that would cause the content to move around. Now we're realizing that, no, design should be flat and we should let users interact with the content itself. And now we're starting to see more animation of interfaces, and so that content is presented to the user when the user needs it, and getting out of the way when the user doesn't need it. And I don't know, that there may come a time when the design becomes so efficient that we're able to accommodate even a tiny screen like the watch. How's it been working for an American company from Guadalajara? Has that been difficult?
Well, my biggest challenge right now and all the time is the language. You hear a lot of different accents, but with time, I think it's getting better. So I hope it becomes very good for me. So,
yeah, I don't think that's a problem that's specific to you. I hear it's a lot of those accents throw me off too. and I have a degree in English, so you're probably just as articulate as the average American, if not more so.
Yeah.
So, it's funny also that you say that, given that you're able to basically achieve what no other company that I've ever worked for has been able to achieve in such a short time. I've worked with you alongside you, side by side, physically in the real world, not just virtually, on a number of jobs with Propelics, and I've seen you put together wireframes and designs in a matter of hours. When on any other designer that I've ever worked with would have taken days, if not weeks, to create the same content, and yet the quality is absolutely the same. Frankly, just wondering how the hell you pull that off.
Well, I guess I was well trained. At the time that I was working for a newspaper, we needed to create really, really fast like work. We needed to finish around 10 or more ads per day. So we got used to use the shortcuts of Photoshop and Illustrator. I think that's the key. We follow always the process, and that gives you speed to create all things around UX UI. If you know what you're doing, you do it almost automatically. So
you're being very modest right now, because I mean, using keyboard shortcuts is one thing, but you have this ability to take very complex feature sets and sometimes they seem only slightly related to each other in terms of their use case, and you are able to create these UIs that consolidate all these different features in a way that's logical and yet just proportionally gorgeous, and your color choices are amazing, and it's just, there's a lot more going on there than just using keyboard shortcuts.
Yeah, maybe, I mean, it's a matter also of experience, and as you know, I always start with a map with an interaction flow, and sometimes people don't understand very well the purpose of that diagram, but for me it's everything. I mean, I start with that. I organize the ideas on paper, on that diagram, and also on my head, and from there I start like simplifying and creating all the navigation that the apps needs. But I think it's experience, just experience.
Yeah, I mean, when I it's always amazing to watch you work and to see you create these interfaces so quickly, as if you have some kind of magic insight to build these things almost automatically. It's really incredible. What do you think's been your biggest challenge so far working at Propelics? Would you say it's been design related or UX? Was there an especially complicated UI you needed to put together, or was it something to do with a client? Or
yeah, getting through customs is always a pain. But hopefully with this global entry program, that will help me avoid 1 or more hours in line. But honestly, my biggest challenge is client related. Time in workshops goes too fast, and you have two choices. Maybe come up with a revolutionary idea and explain it, or sometimes it's create something that it is easily understandable for the client, so he accepts right away the path of that you are following.
yeah, I get you. But on the other hand, our clients have always been satisfied. That's another great thing about working for Propelics is we get done with these 1 to 2 week engagements, and the client is just so amazed, one, that we're able to pull off what we do in such a short time, and two, that we're able to provide such an amazing level of quality in that short of a time. I've only been with you on a couple of different jobs, so I haven't seen everything. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you so far at Propelics?
I really enjoy all the traveling all over US, because I'm meeting people, I'm meeting places, new cultures. But I guess workshops at Propelics are becoming craziest day by day. We do more things in less time. I think we also sleep less.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or bad. But right now, I really enjoy it.
Yeah. Have you tried power blinking?
No, what's that?
This is something I'm trying to get started. And what you do is you extend the length of each blink by like a half a second.
Uh-huh.
And then by doing that, you get to make up on all your lost sleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you do like a half a second per blink, per day, that's like an extra 20 minutes of sleep. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sounds a little bit crazy, but I will try.
I'm gonna try to maybe try to sell a book or maybe like a lecture series, or just start giving seminars on this. Could be big.
Excellent.
Really going to be really big. I'd say the craziest thing for me so far working at Propelics has been we have one client who makes us wear a suit.
Oh yeah.
That was shocking when I heard that, and they're pretty strict about that too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there's a lot of good times and bad times. We are becoming good, so that's all that matters.
Well, maybe we'll get to hang out in LA again. That'd be really great.
Hopefully, yeah.
So Andreas, thanks for coming on and speaking with us.
Oh,
it was really great. Thanks, folks out there, for listening in. I hope everyone found this helpful and entertaining. Stay tuned for the next podcast. Take care, man.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.